Hello SLAPAFISH community, welcome back to another World Tanks console video. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a tank review on the Tier 10 French heavy tank that's a premium, the Andre the Giant AMX M454. So basically this is a tank that you get at level 100 if you have a season pass. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a tank review of it. So Andre the Giant gets a upgrade. For a Tier 10, it gets 2 package you can pick. This one is the stock one. This is the upgraded. And so this is Andre the Giant tank right here. Okay? This is the stock package. This is the upgraded package. Now right here, these two tanks, well, these two columns is the AMX M454, the Tier 10 Tech Tree heavy tank, French. This is the upgraded gun, and this is the stock gun, and this is the Super Conqueror because this tank usually gets compared to the Super Conqueror. So let's jump right into it. I know it's like confusing, so let's just jump right into it. This is the tank with 130, 130, 130, 120, and 120 millimeter gun. They're all tier 10s. The stock upgrade, stock Andre the Giant is the heaviest, with the Super Conqueror being the lightest. The horsepower of the Andre the Giant tank is 1200, and the horsepower per ton is the lowest on the upgraded Andre the Giant. The speed of the Andre the Giant is 35, which is in the middle of the Tech Tree version and the Super Conqueror. Reverse speed is bad at 15, and fire chance is okay at 15. Track rotation is the worst on the stock Andre, and terrain resistance is the same as the Tech Tree version of the tank. Now, the turret rotation speed is the worst on the stock upgrade of the Andre the Giant tank. Now, let's talk about the gun. As I said, this is 130, 130, and 130. That's 120 and 120, as it says right there. So basically, the stock Andre the Giant tank gets an 18.7 second reload, and the upgraded version gets like 18 seconds. And aim time is 2.3. The upgraded Andre the Giant tank is 0.38 accuracy, which is the worst on here. Super Conqueror's the best. Moving dispersion accuracy is the worst on the upgraded version of the tank. And rotating the turret is in the middle of the Super Conqueror and the upgraded Tech Tree version of the tank. So the tank gets 15 degrees of gun elevation and 8 degrees of gun depression. Now for a 130mm gun, it actually kind of hits hard. Most 130s hit for like 490, but this one hits for 560, so that's pretty nice. 560. Penetration is lacking at 250 on its standard and 280 on its premium. But high explosive pin is okay at 65. Shell velocity sucks for all of its rounds at 840. Now DPM sucks. The DPM is the worst on the stock version of Andre the Giant, and also has the slowest rounds per minute. And potential damage is the highest on Andre at 16,800. The armor of this tank is actually pretty good. 300 at the front, 100 at the side, and 40 at the back. Whole armor is 220 at the front, 100 at the side, and 40 at the back. View range is 390, signal range is 750. Hit points is 2,500, which is pretty nice, which is 300 more than the Tech Tree version of the tank, which I didn't know that until somebody pointed it out to me. So I was like, okay. And concealment absolutely sucks at 6% while stationary and 3% while moving. And the boost that you get with this tank is like 5% XP boost, like all tier 10 premium tanks and tier 9 premium tanks. Okay, so there's going to be 2 replays of Andre the Giant tank today because I'm going to be featuring both packages. So the first package I'm using is the stock package, where it gives you like this like space armor in the front, I want to say, like little bar in the front. I don't know what to call it. And this is when you choose this package, you sacrifice your DPM for a little bit more armor at the front and a little bit more accuracy. So it depends. When you choose your packages, do you want DPM or do you want to be more accurate? Because the space armor at the front of this tank, above on the mantlet, doesn't really matter because most people can't pin your mantlet because it's 300 millimeters thick with space armor already right there. Now, I also want to say that Andre the Giant tank actually gets space armor on the side of the tank. As you can see where his name is, that is space armor, and also on the side of the turret is space armor. So you get pretty nice space armor. Right now, I'm going to be fighting over here around the side of the mountain and try to hopefully shoot these guys over here. So, while I'm doing that, I should actually tell you like what kind of equipment and my crew is on this tank. So the equipment I'm using is a gun rammer, gunling drive, and crew vents. My crew is not very advanced. It only has 7 perks. It has safe stowage, track mechanics, repairs, brothers in arms, sixth sense, mentor, and also training swimming lessons. Now the lower plate. Oh wait, that's not Andre. That's the tech tree version. There's not really a lower plate. Okay, yes, there is a lower plate. The lower plate is split into 2 parts. There's an upper lower plate and there's a lower plate. The upper lower plate is it's kind of flat. It's like it's at the angle of most lower plates, but it's 240 millimeters thick. But when you go to your lower plate, it's 125 millimeters thick. But it's hyper angled, so it's super angled. So getting pinned in your lower plate is not a problem you should worry about because they can't hit there. And also, if you're talking about the tech tree version, when you go to the tier 9, the tanks are almost identical. The 9 compared to the 10. The 9 doesn't even have a lower plate. It has the lower plate like the tier 10 and Andre the Giant has. When it's super hyper angled, it's only 120 millimeters thick, but it's hyper angled. So the tier 9 doesn't even have a lower plate that's even remotely penetrable. So basically, the tier 9 is just like an Object 279 E at tier 9. And this is basically the tech tree version, like the AMX M454, was basically like an Object 279E before that tank even came out. But most people didn't realize this tank does not have a lower glacis plate. So, I also want to mention that Andre the Giant actually has a little bit more armor in the front than the tech tree version. The tech tree version, okay, at the front of the tank there are your main upper plate, and right beside your upper plate there are these 2 shoulder plates. Now on Andre the Giant, the 2 shoulder plates are 220 millimeters thick, just like the frontal plate. But when you go to the tech tree version, those sidebars, like those shoulder bars that are on the tank, are only 150 millimeters thick. So when you get that's something about that tank. That's something more. Basically, Andre the Giant compared to the AMX M454 is basically like, okay, the Andre Giant has more armor, but less DPM, less accuracy, less gun choices, and less speed. But anyway, let me go over the post-game stats of this game. Because we made 35,000 silver, did almost 5,000 damage. We blocked 3,260 damage, and we also got second place on the leaderboard. And now let's go jump into the second game. Now this game, I'm actually using the other package. So this package is the one that gives you the DPM, but you lose a little bit of accuracy. So there's a trade-off. And also you don't have that bar in front of your mantlet anymore. So even if they can penetrate you, they don't have the bar to go through it. I guess the bar on the other package upgrade is for heat rounds, really high penetrating heat rounds. If I remember correctly, the Yak Panzer E100 has heat rounds. I think it does. That's something I would really have to look at. I could look at that right now. I think it does. Yeah, the Yak Panzer E100 has heat rounds. If I remember correctly, it has 420 millimeters penetration. So I'm guessing if you ever get hold down in front of a Yak Panzer E100 and it's firing premium rounds, the other turret would be better because it has the space armor, and we all know that space armor and heat rounds do not mix. Mix. Yeah. They don't mix together very well. Or HESH rounds are high explosive, so yeah, because they explode on the first thing they contact. So anyway, right now, I'm trying to use my gun depression against Centurion Action 10. He's also trying to fire my lower plate because I don't have one. And we also just hit that guy for 761 damage. Remember, the alpha damage of this tank is only 560, so we had to roll pretty high in this tank to actually hit him for 761. How high did we have to roll? What is the maximum damage you roll for this tank? Wait, did we roll for 761, or was that 671? It was probably 671, because the highest you can roll on this thing is 700. So I'm saying we rolled for 671, because I wasn't paying attention. I just remember it, so I guess it was 671. But anyway, we rolled pretty high. It was a nice hit on the Centurion Action 10, either way. So, ooh, that guy just got annihilated by artillery. Thank you, artillery. Now, this tank has really good frontal armor. Really good frontal armor. It really doesn't get penetrated a lot from the front. But there is one thing that you gotta remember, is your cupola on top. Now, what actually benefits you a lot is, if you remember back to the Kampfpanzer 50T. The Kampfpanzer 50T also has a cupola on the top of its turret. But the turret is also long like this tank. So, because it's long, and when you use your gun depression on this tank, you actually can't see this when you go hold out and use your gun depression. So the enemy tanks can't actually pin it, or / hit it. So it's basically your only weak point when tanks are looking straight at you, is that cupola on top. Or somehow, if they managed to pin your upper lower plate, which is going to be really, really hard for them, but some people may be able to do it. But more than likely, they're going to pin you from your cupola. The frontal armor is just really good. As long as you keep it straight. And there's that Valor. The Valor showed you exactly what I said would happen. Because some people can manage to punch through your lower upper plate. And that's exactly what that Valor did. And now, right now, since we're so tall, I'm actually going to shut down this Valor like this. And boom, hit his compoler out there. Also, the space armor on the side of your tank actually comes in handy. Just like that shot just got absorbed into my space armor right there where his name's at. But don't really rely on it that much because it does. Remember, it's only 100mm thick back there on the side of your turret, on the side of your tank. So it's not really that thick. So don't really rely on it. And you can see people are pinning through my lower plate. I said it was going to be hard. I didn't say it was impossible. So there's my side armor coming in again, saving me. And I think the Super Conqueror is actually firing heat. I think it does get it. No, I think it only gets APCR. See, there's a lot of tanks in this game. And there's a lot of information you gotta remember. And sometimes, I don't remember information. And I really think the Super Conqueror only has APCR. But anyway, that was a victory. Yeah, Super Conqueror only has APCR. So, it was APCR that bounced off the side of my tank. So, oh well. But anyway, we did 4,200 damage, blocked 4,000 damage, and we did 3,800 assisted. And that's it. And we also got top of leaderboards, if that counts as something. But anyway, if you like this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also remember to SLAPAFISH, because we're always not. And peace out. See ya.